How's everyone doing? I look like looks like I was out tanning. I don't know. The light is a little bit different, but I did hurt my finger. You can can you see it? You can see it. Is that finger? Hurt myself this weekend lifting weights. That's what I get for trying to get strong. Hurt myself. That's what it goes. Sad times here. With that, we're gonna get started on some chapter 8. Maybe I'll send out an announcement and say like, who wants to work on chapter 8? Let me do this right here. Let's go send an announcement to the class. Stat 201. So let's say complete chapter 8 homework in 20 minutes. 8 homework. Quickly. Join now. Want to be done with chapter 8 homework? And some of the quiz? Join in. Okay, there we go. There's that. Publish it. See if we can get some people in here. Wait just a second longer. Hair's getting so long. It's like craziness here. It's like so humid out. I don't know what it is. Humid or whatever. It just gets floppy. Okay. We've got the Off-Stars live stream. Got the video details here. Start chapter 8. Stat 201. MyPearson Quiz Chapter 8. Alright. See if anyone joins in. Is anyone here yet? Get some points? Is anybody here? Wait just one or two more songs going on. Do some of the quiz. Go through the questions. Let's see. Anybody here? Throw out some points if you are. Nobody here. Put on the Discord also. Discord. Let's speak before spring break. Office hours. Chapter 8. Okay. Hey, what's up, Brian? You want to do some chapter 8 with me? Get it done? Mackenzie, good to see you there. Chapter 8. Is that the plan? Let me throw you some 5,000 points. We're going to start some chapter 8 here in a second. Mubot's handing out those points right there. Molly, good to see you. People are checking their emails, I think, and saying, whoa, or you went to, yes, let's do chapter 8. 8 is great. Let's head over there and do it. Okay, so we got some chapter 8. The old, why not? Why not? So this right here is a concert production company. The first question is asking about, and we have right here 2 series. Now they fit 2 regression plots on one. Everyone knows it's always better if you have 2 regression plots. And so you've got a blue series and a red series. And what you'll notice here is the blue series is a little bit tighter. Would have a linear model that goes through like that. Where the red series, and we're just saying like a group of points by saying a series, they both have about the same slope. The red series has more variation in it. Does this make sense to everybody? Just give me a yes or no in the chat that you can see the blue series has less spread on the x-axis. I just kind of graphed around the points. Blue series might be a little tighter. Everyone's seen it right there. That's what you want to look at when you're analyzing these things. So it asks right here, describe the relationship between these. Both show a positive linear trend. So we look for positive linear, and we'd say probably pretty strong. And that's really all we need to see. That's the thing about it. It wasn't weak and it wasn't negative. So you just had weak, positive, and strong. They're you might say they're moderate, but the blue is strong at least. This might be more moderate. I don't like it's a little subjective, but still. Both variables show an increase over time. What do you see about C and D? You would know C and D here. Good to see you, Trevor. And Caroline, too. And Bella. What do you notice about C and D where you're like, no. We don't say that here. We don't do that. We don't say those words. We don't do that. We don't say quads here. So both show a positive increase over time. How are they different? There was more variation in the larger venue. Larger venue has a larger variation, goes across the larger values of the x. So the larger venue has greater variability. which would make it more difficult to predict. Oh man, MuBot's mad. Is there evidence? Yeah, we'll do that one out here, Adeline. We'll finish the full homework, and then we'll hop right to those quiz questions. Thank you, Adeline. Let's raise some points on the quiz. You got it. Okay. Let me mark that, Adeline. And you got it. Okay, it's in the notes. And we're going to go here and do quiz question 2. That question probably only took about 3 minutes. I forgot to put the timestamp. I'll say it took 4 minutes. 1 minute. I don't know. Okay, the next question here is starting up at the 7:03 mark. So listen in. Sometimes I kind of tell you the answers. Sometimes I ask you the answers. You never know. You never know. We just learn here. That's what we do. We learn. Do we have the coding quiz today? Yes. In 320, there is a coding quiz, nice and simple, over find transformations. Nice and simple quiz, only meant to take maybe 3 to 4 minutes over find transformations. Know how to use the find transformations function. Maybe I'll show that again here after this. So I'll put coding quiz on here, Rutong. Coding quiz, just a small coding quiz, very small one. Noting a recent study predicting the increase in cell phone cost, a friend remarks that by the time he's a grandfather, no one will be able to afford a cell phone. So what is your friend doing? Your friend is taking the data from what they've seen over the course of their life from 0 to 20, and they've seen cell phone costs go up like this. And then they're taking where they're currently at, and they're making the model go out like this. And they're like, man, cell phones are going to cost an insane amount. So your friend is whatting from current point, because this is their X range where they have data, and they're whatting. Don't even look at their answers. Your friend is predicting by the time they're a grandfather, like 60, 70, 80, something like that. They're whatting, because they're going outside the X range and making predictions well beyond the X's that create the model. This is the X range. Jaden, good to see you there. Your friend is whatting their model. Very key word that 320 and 201 needs to know, and 207 needs to know. When you predict where you don't have data in the range of the X's, you are whatting your model. Don't look at their answers. Extrapolating, Bella knows right there with 1,000 points. You are extrapolating. So if you got here, you are extrapolating the model. Extrapolating. You are extrapolating down here too. If you extended it out before you have data too, you can extrapolate on either side. This is where your model has data inside the X range. So this is an extrapolation of the model, and you wouldn't be able to trust it. That's all there is to that question. We're just rocking and rolling right here. Get the full homework done pretty quick and easy. Might only take like 15, 20 minutes. Homework done. And let's do this. Okay, there we go. Question number 3. Using the data from 20 compact cars, a consumer group develops a model that predicts the stopping time for a vehicle by its weight. You consider using this model to predict the stopping time of an SUV. Good or bad idea? They're using 20 compact cars, and you're going to use this to predict SUVs. Good or bad idea? Because the model was created on 20 compact cars. Is it a good idea or bad idea? It's a bad idea. That's not what the model was created to work on. So bad idea right here. This is not advisable. It's not going to be reliable. The SUV is not a compact car, so the model prediction is not reliable. That sounds good. There you go. Once again, I'll show that answer again. There's the answer to this one. Just in case, you can always pause the screen here. But that's a pretty easy one. Don't use models for data they were not created on. There you go. Don't do that. Here we go with a little more in-depth one right here. This one's actually got a little meat to it. So let's do this right here. This one might take more than seconds. Easy homework, right? Who's excited? It's like you're going to have the homework done in just moments here. Thank you for showing up when I send out these announcements. If I send out the announcement, I'm like, oh, we need some people in here so we can do it. We can get the full homework done just in seconds. Not seconds, but you know what I mean. Won't take that long. So let's write the regression equation first. You're welcome, Mackenzie. Sometimes I was meeting with students and stuff. Shout out to my students. Really great questions. In-person office hours are before this, and I never want to just run off and be like, and then sometimes I go on a little walk. Today wasn't a walk. We were doing some work and getting some really good work done. Shouts to them. What is the regression equation up here? So we usually start like 2:45-ish, but plus or minus 5 minutes or so. I was on a walk before class or before office hours. Such a nice day. You have to enjoy the outside. What is the regression equation? I'm looking for something like this. There we go. What is it? And I'll tell you what it is. I'm asking us to figure out what the regression equation is with that revenue equals. We just need the values of it, what it means. Because you have to know how to write the regression equation. What are the coefficients in the regression equation? So it's y hat what? What are people's thoughts on it? And this is question number 5, right? Oh, no, it's question number 4. Nice job, Mackenzie. It is y hat equals b0 plus b1x. And down there's the value of x. So how in the world are we going to get this first answer that says predict for a 10,000 person stadium? How in the world are we going to get this answer right here that says predict for a 10,000 person stadium? How are we going to do that? What are we going to do? How are we going to solve this? Just plug it in. That's all we do. That's it. Just there it is, because you just plug in x. That's the value of x. Yep. I think once you realize it, you're like, oh, that's all we do. Great job, Henry, right there. Let's show you some points. Once you know the steps for these and you understand what you're trying to solve for, great job, Mackenzie. Let's throw Mackenzie 5,000, typing it out in the chat exactly. Just plug 10,000 in, make sure everything solves out correctly, times it by your coefficients, and make sure to subtract. Just make sure you math the way you should math. If you get it wrong, it's because the math didn't math. And then let's take a look at the visualization of this. And if you look at the visualization, what do you notice about 10,000 people at this concert? 10,000 ticket sales. It is very much a what of this model, because they're saying predict for 10,000. So 10,000 is very much, we'll make it kind of clear with the colors I used previously. 10,000 is very much a what. Sure, that went off the screen. 10,000 is very much a what of this model. Famous word we've been saying a lot right now. There goes 10,000, 5,000 there. Or so. It's an extrapolation. The model's data ends there. The model's here. This is the X space of the model. So your model's really only meant to make predictions with inside this X space right there. If you go outside of it to any degree, even below, you should know that too. Anything outside the X space is an extrapolation, because the model doesn't have data to make predictions. So you couldn't predict a model that had no pre-sale tickets or ticket sales and predict the total revenue. Even though you'd be like, well, you can't make money if you don't do sales. I don't know. It's not. The model can't. You might logically. Good job, Allie, Mackenzie, and everyone in there. I eat these granola bars. And then my wife is like, you're allergic to peanuts or something. And I'm like, maybe I am. Maybe I am. I don't know. Maybe. So it'd be an extrapolation. Extrapolation is not reliable. That far away. Here we go. Only a few more questions. Then we're going to need quiz questions coming up after this. Let's get some quiz questions in the chat. We only have one right now. So as you're finishing this up, open up your quiz, find one you're stuck on. And this is just right here. We only have 2 more. And we'll have done the full homework in we're 10 minutes in. There's a strong correlation between temperature and number of skinned knees on a playground. Does this tell us that warm weather causes, just what do you hear? And don't even read their answers. Warm weather causes children to skin their knees. No. So now we're down to 2 answers, A and C. Warm weather will cause, so the answer is obviously C. In warm weather, children are more likely to go play outside. So it's the amount they're playing. That's kind of the lurking variable. We don't say causation here. Causation, unless you do a designed experiment, which we haven't taught you, then only then can you really focus in on causation. So one more. A variable that is not part of a model, don't click on their answers, is called a what variable? Literally 10 minutes. I didn't even know it'd be that easy. A variable that is outside the XY relationship is called a what variable? If it's outside the XY paradigm, we call it a what variable? It's like someone on Reddit who's not part of the conversation. A what variable? Lurking. Douglas right there with 1,000 points. Douglas, nice job. Lurking variable. There you go. Final answer. And we did it. Great job. Okay. Quiz time. Full homework is done. Who feels that is literally we spent 11 minutes. Who's got that homework done? Who's got those hundreds? Let me hear it. Okay, we got, is there evidence that at the age, is there evidence that the age, is that the age in gestation or something? My hair's just going crazy. Oh, my head's disappearing. I dropped a weight on my hand. You can barely see it. I dropped a weight on my hand last night. I dropped a 20-pound weight on a 20-pound weight, and my hand was between and went, bop. I got some x-rays this morning. They said, you're okay. Your pain tolerance is not that okay. Then I said, okay. It was okay. My wife took me to the checkup place. Just want to make sure I didn't fracture any bones. Just bruised it pretty bad. You see, like, you see that one? Yeah. I'll stop showing off. It's not bleeding or anything. No blood. Just bruised my finger. Let's go do those quiz questions. Homework done. Brian's recovering. And then my wife said, no push-ups, no pull-ups, no working, no strength. You're doing cardio and core for the week. Cardio and core. That's what we do. Can we do, is there any, yeah, animals. You bet. Quiz number 8. Replace the questions. We're just going to make this a workout class. We'll do cardio and core today. That's what I do. We're all going to get in awesome shape. Go to the main screen. Is there any evidence? Hey, we found it. Closer. Is there any evidence? Oh, I wrote quiz on all these. Someone's gonna be like, I want to do a quiz. Can we do the quiz question about the federal rate? Yeah, of course. Thank you. How's it start out? Give me the first words of it. Give me is there any evidence, or are we monitored? Give me the very first few words of it, and then that'll help me find it quickly here. I'm correcting timestamp issues. This is the 18 timestamp. Can we do the Gallup Poll, the accompanying plot, or regression? And then how's the Gallup one start, Bella? Drop that one in. What I do when you say this is I go over here and I timestamp. So I put in, I used to do these late at night. I would literally spend I had to do it for multiple classes. And I'm gonna re-timestamp this. So I timestamp this here while I'm doing it. So that way I can put this in right here, and then I just take what you tell me, and then I go find that next. So that's how I do it. And then I put it over here, and I work on it over there. Okay, let's do the Gallup question. Where are the humans at? If you've been working on this question, where are the humans? It's kind of only one or so. I got it, Bella. Where's the humans at on this graphic? Where are the humans? Where's the humans at? Well, there's only one point that kind of stands out to us. Where are the humans at? Anyone want to say? Where are the humans at? Where are the humans at on this graphic? Only one point really stands out. Oh, is there any evidence? Okay. Oh, okay, we'll do this one. Oh, and then there was any evidence of married. Okay, I'll put that one on next. Thank you so much. So there's a different one about the age. Is there any evidence that the age of animal gestation? Oh, he did gestation. Really? They both start out this. Do this one, please. Yeah, let's do this one. Then I got this one next. Okay, gestation. Okay, so where are the humans at? And then we'll do the other one. Marriage. Okay, I got the marriage one next. Where are the humans at? Where's the humans? The red X. Yes, the red X. So what you have right here is the relationship with humans and the relationship without humans. Notice that the relationship without humans would be much wetter. Notice that the relationship without humans would be much wetter. Thank you, Mackenzie. 5,000 points. Thank you right there for making sure we get it. The relationship without humans wouldn't. Good to see you, Catherine. The relationship without humans, like if you take away the red X, you would get this right here. And if you notice, with humans, it's wetter. So think about this. So here's without humans. Here's with humans. So what's the difference? So without humans, with humans. So explain the differences. This is what they're getting at in the question to start. So without humans, look at the line, look at the strength. With humans, look at the line, look at the strength. Thoughts on it? What do you think? Once again, we want to know the answers before they even tell us the answers. It's stronger without humans, exactly, because stronger, exactly, Bella. If you look at this right here, it's stronger because it's tighter and the line has a more positive slope to it. That doesn't necessarily mean stronger, but it is stronger because it's tighter. So for the data, it's not very strong. Do you think the association would be stronger if humans were removed? It would be stronger both the slope and the correlation would increase. It's not that it's easier to put more to fit a line with less points. That's just nonsense. Can you remove humans? You can do whatever you want. Just say it's non-humans we're studying. Next, we get down here to the association. How would we describe it? This is talking about the 4 ways to describe the quantitative relationships, which are strength, direction, form, unusual features. So if you think about this association is mostly positive. It's moderately strong, things like that. So it's moderately strong and positive. Perfect would have every dot on the line if it's perfect. Interpret the slope. So here's what I want you to do. We are predicting gestation, which is how long you carry child before having child. We're using life expectancy. Now, I want you to interpret the slope coefficient like MuBot does. And we're going to pause here. I'm going to throw you 5,000 points. This is like for the test. Remember, we are predicting gestation days. So we're predicting gestation days. And life expectancy is for each year. So for each year. So I want you to try. I'm going to pause here for a little bit. Interpret the slope. Interpret the slope. It's kind of crazy for humans. Because if we go and predict for humans gestation period, I'm not interpreting it right now. 75 bucks. Oh my god. Is that right, according to the model? Yeah, it would be. It'd be off the scale. It's humans' predicted gestation period. Go ahead and then think about what I just did right here. According to this model, which doesn't, humans are not following the trend of this in the animal kingdom. So what is the explanation of it? For 5,000 points, this is the practice you need for the test. A lot of people on the test don't know how to do this. If you're watching this in this video, get this answer and to work on this, write this down, say it out. I can say the answer very quickly of how to interpret the slope. So what is the slope interpretation? MuBot's got it in the chat. This is the test practice you need. Like, a lot of people can't interpret the slope. Oh, we're giving it a moment more. Who can interpret the slope? You think, what is X? For each year of life expectancy, we expect to taste close. So Mackenzie, I was doing a totally different calculation. Good job, Mackenzie. I'll throw you the 5,000 points. I'll throw another 5,000 if anyone wants to update it. This is B0. This is B1. I was doing a totally different thing. Another 5,000 on the line. So think about what I was doing, a different calculation for just fun, and I'll explain what my calculation is, and then we'll answer some questions here. But you're very close, Mackenzie. You have the smallest detail to change. Just look at MuBot's interpretation again and think about what I've changed right here, and then you'll basically have it. For each additional year of life expectancy, for each 1 year increase in life expectancy, we expect gestation to increase by 13 days. That's it right there. That's it. Henry's got it, and great job. Another 5,000 points in the chat. Yeah, so what I did is I actually took the model. I wrote the model of predicted gestation days is equal to 92.6 plus 13 times 75. So I plugged in 75 for humans' life expectancy, and then I solved out the predicted gestation, which is 3 years. Humans, according to this model, would be predicted to be pregnant for 3 years, which is almost 4 times longer than they are usually pregnant over the 9 months. So the model obviously doesn't work for humans, and you can kind of see this out if you look at the visualization of it, that the visualization of the model would have a line, if you fit the line to the data, that goes like this. And humans would have a very, very what residual? I mean, I only need one character in the chat. That is an extremely what residual, where they have like 3 years, but meanwhile, the actual gestation is about 9 months. That's an extremely what residual of something 2.25 years. It's a very, very what residual. key things to know about residuals. They mention negative. Exactly. Does that make sense? Humans are way below their prediction by having a negative residual. The actual gestation period of a human is well below the predicted of the model. The prediction of the model is way higher. So humans are not predicted well. Hence, we could just remove the humans. So interpret the slope right here. On average, for each 1 year increase in life expectancy, the gestation period is expected to increase by the coefficient right here. We just need to round to 2 decimals. I got lucky. I can just put in 13. Make sure to round to 2 decimals. A certain animal has a life expectancy of 23. What do we do? With the life expectancy of 23, we simply what here? Simply take 23 and what? If an animal has a life expectancy of 23, simply take 23 and what? About to do it. About to do it. Simply take 23 and what? So if we're trying to predict gestation days and the animal has a life expectancy of 23, plug in 23 right here. Does that make sense? Because this is the value, this is the x variable, and this is the coefficient of B1, and this is the coefficient of B0, and there's the predicted y of gestation days. Does that make sense? Hopefully color coding this output makes it make a little more sense. That's why I hope you can see with this right here to be like, okay, that's the name of the x variable. That's where we plug in the x. This is B1. This is B0. Y hat equals B0 plus B1x. So you should know that y hat equals B0 plus B1x. And then you simply plug in the values where this is x, this is B0, and this is B1. Sure, that's a good enough B1. And we just plug in and solve. A lot of the questions equate to knowing how to use the equation. So at least in this chapter, and a lot of this class is know how to use the equation. So 23 times 13.0032 plus 92.6789. And there it is right there. We go in, we take the answer. Do not round to final answer, round to 1 decimal place, 0.8. Check answer, good to go 100. Okay, is there any evidence? Let's do the actual one people wanted here. Really good stuff right there. Good questions. Define correlation. We just define correlation. Correlation squared is r squared, but be careful going backwards because it could be negative. Let me know which one you're working on, Brian. R squared is correlation squared, but then when you go backwards, you actually have to check the direction of it. So check that. Make sure to have that. We could probably do that one if you want. Okay, is there any evidence? They're always looking for evidence. Is there any evidence? I think someone wanted the Gallup one. Is there any evidence that the age at which women are getting married has changed over the last 100 years? So let's go look at this first right here. Oof. Okay, so what's the biggest issue you see on regression right here? If we were to put this on a test, we'd want you to say what issue is there. What are your 4 conditions for regression? It's not normality of residuals, although we use that. You're welcome, Brian. I mean, normality of residuals is a thing, but we haven't taught you that. If anyone put it on the assignment, that's a different thing. Not straight enough. Bella knows right there. You got it. Because if we put a straight line through this, it would have to go. It's gonna like. So it's got this like non-linear trend to start, and then it becomes linear throughout here. So it has a linear trend from like 1960 and beyond. So it's really not straight enough. You want to see that the data mostly follows a line, and only until about early 1960s does it become a linear trend. I mean, you could say we have something called piecewise regression, and you could technically use piecewise 2 or piecewise 3. You could go one piece of the regression. This is called piecewise linear regression. You just do it in pieces. Piecewise linear regression. That's piecewise linear regression with 3 pieces. We got all these techniques. We don't use that in Tool 1, though. And also, a weird thing here is the data was originally collected over 5-year gaps. So we were collecting it not yearly, and then it became 1-year intervals that they were collecting us as 1 year. So that mostly describes the data set. It is a data set with a nonlinear trend that is mostly flat to begin with, has a sudden dip around the 1940s, starts to rise maybe linearly at the 1960s, and from about 1890 or so to, or that's 10-year gaps. Because if you look, that'd be where 1910 is at. So it's 10-year gaps. So the data has 10-year gaps. Just understand what you're seeing, and then we can describe the answers. Is there a clear pattern? Yeah. There appears to be a non-linear up to about 1970. Sure, that seems to be about right. The trend appears to be linear up to 1940. No. It's, okay, is this strong, weak, or vague? Is this, yeah, you got it. Is this strong, weak, or vague? Is this relationship strong, weak, or vague? What do you say? I am 100% sure the answer I'm about to use on this. Strong, weak, or vague? Like vague being like, I don't know what's going on with that data. This relationship is super duper what? Douglas, it's super duper strong. Strength is how tight it is around the form. And if you notice here with what I drew on this, it's very tight around that piecewise. If I use a piecewise, it's because there's no vertical scatter. If you wanted to draw this same relation, I'm just going to throw things. If you wanted to draw this same relationship but make it weaker, you could go here and just draw the same sort of pattern but spread the points out more. So I'm trying to draw the same sort of relationship you see over there, where you notice there's a linear upward here, and then there's this like flat part there. But notice how this has more vertical scatter. So the vertical scatter is this right here, and this has more vertical scatter. So the increase in vertical scatter weakens the relationship, but the one on the left has more. Don't worry, Jaden, we're throwing you a bunch of points right there. The one on the left is stronger, and that is super duper 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 strong. It doesn't. The strength is not denoted by the form. Form is its own idea. Strength, direction, form, unusual features. Strength is just how tight it is around whatever it follows. So that's super duper strong. Is the correlation high? This one's iffy. Now I'm scared. Does it say what the correlation is? We'll say no, as a whole the graph is nonlinear. That's consistent. It probably actually has a decent correlation, but it's not aptly applied to the whole graphic. Is a linear model appropriate? No. A linear model would not be appropriate throughout. One could fit a linear model to this period of time. A little worried about answer C, but we got it. Correlation is probably pretty decent. I wish I could just run the correlation on that. I could use an app and redraw it, but that one is the one it'd be higher if it was more linear. Correlation is meant to measure the linear strength, but I would almost say from my eye, due to some degree of linear nature in this data, I'll disappear. Due to some degree of linear nature, there's probably a decent to moderate correlation, but correlation is not aptly applied because of the non-linearity of the start up to the like 1960s or 70s. So pretty good question, just mainly on should we be using correlation with this data. That one's more of like you got problems with non-linearity. I put this one a little out of order, but we'll do an institution next. An institution. I thought I did one of those questions. There's a question. An institution. An institution. How's everyone doing today? Is it the last one? I think it's the last one. An institution. Okay. Anyone doing good? 34. Had a fun night. Time change hit me hard today. I went to bed at like 10 p.m. on Saturday night. I was like, I'm gonna do it for once. I'm gonna go to bed early, and it worked out. Yeah, time change, it'll get you. Can we do a constant production of it? Yeah, of course. And then what's the rest of that one? I'll grab that right here, Mackenzie. Okay, I've got it. We got a few more before this. Let's do this. Yeah, the weather is nice, right? It's pretty good weather. A little chilly out this morning, but cleared up. My hand. Be smart when lifting weights. Don't be like Brian. Are the conditions for regression satisfied? Okay, so what are the conditions for regression? I need them in the chat. What are the regression conditions? What are the regression conditions? Yeah, let's do we've done it a few times. We could do it. We could do it. I think we haven't in a previous year from last week, but we could do it. What are the conditions for regression? You say them, I'll show them. What are the conditions? I'll start highlighting here. I'm going to highlight the conditions. Condition 1, condition 2, condition 3, condition 4. There we go. What are the conditions? I've got them highlighted here. I can start explaining each condition and whether or not we pass or fail them. Remember your project right here, your assignment on. I'm just going to hit myself on the face. What are the conditions for regression? What are the conditions? What are the conditions? Straight enough? Well, it's all of them. What's all of them? I need all the conditions. Should be able to know all of them. Don't worry. Don't. No. Q, straight enough. No outliers. What? Down here. Q. I'll start repeating. You ready? Q means two quantitative variables. Great job, Douglas, right there. Let me make Douglas. I'm just going on a limb here. Q means two quantitative variables are being displayed, which we have in a scatter plot. We definitely pass. Straight enough means that the dots approximately follow a straight line. They do. Notice that the majority of the dots are around the line. If it has like a bend, like that last graphic we saw from just rewind to the last question, that one was not straight enough because it had a nonlinear pattern. No outliers means there's no outliers, and we got an outlier. But what's the last condition, which no one said? Q, straight enough. No outliers. Something. Plot doesn't thicken. And I like that plot does not thicken because this is pretty good, actually. For the majority of this plot, it has about the same thickness, which is the spread. You can see it up here too, but usually we make what's called a diagnostic plot, and the residual plot basically takes your line, makes it flat. It can flip it and do all those fun things, but it's basically your line flat. And so right there, that is a good residual plot because it really doesn't show patterns. We really just have one problem here, and it's that one outlier that has now disappeared because I used the same color. Are the conditions satisfied? So I think they don't mention the outlier right here. They're just talking about plot thickening. The residual plot is recently scattered with no evidence of nonlinearity, so the linear model is appropriate. Is there an outlier? Yes. The outlier has an x equal to about what? Take a guesstimate. The outlier has an x equal to what? Is that high or low? So if you go up to this, where's the x for the outlier? With the outlier on test, yeah, we usually make it pretty obvious. Good questions right there, Bryant. Where's some points? Yeah, we make it pretty obvious. This one, if you don't say this is an outlier, I'd be like, that's a pretty big outlier. Is it unusually high or unusually low, and what do you guesstimate its value to be on the x? So you're trying to look down here at its x. I'll do it in a purple. Boop. Is it unusually high or unusually low? That says 8 over here. 8. Is it unusually high or unusually low? What's its value of x? And is that unusually high or unusually low? What is its value of x for the outlier? Thoughts? It's a little higher than the 7.5. They might give it to you. It is unusually high. Yes. It's probably, if you look, it's a little further over than, you see 7.5 would be about, maybe it's 7.6. See, it's not halfway. It's a little more than halfway. So I'm imagining it was 7.6 because 7.5 would be out there. Yeah, it'd probably give you for 7.5. So it's unusually high, though. We know that for certain. We'll do 7.6, but then we'll try 7.5, see if that would give it to us. Okay. Once again, worth 5,000 points. The R squared right here is this. Do not use their interpretation. We have life expectancy and fertility. For 5,000 points, do not use their interpretation. You're going to write these out on the test. Don't use their interpretation. Write out the R squared right now for me in the chat for 5,000 points. Once again, practice this. You see right here the values. You can just call it 71%, but I need you to write it out. And look at what MuBot's saying. I'm getting all choked up here. It's blank percent of the variation Y is explained by the variation X. Blank percent of the variation Y. Blank percent of the variation in Y is explained by the variation X. And then we'll get the right answer here from them. The value of the upper R squared, that means 66.7% of the variation. Yeah. In life expectancy. Yeah, exactly. Boom. There you go. And here we go. This means that 71.2% of the variation in the life expectancy is accounted for, which is explained by the regression on birth rate. And I hate that they just call that fertility. And it's 71% of the variation in life expectancy is explained by the variation in birth rate. It's a regression model on that. They just want to do it that way, you know? But 71% of the variation in life expectancy is explained by the variation in birth rate. That's the way I say it. If the government leaders want to increase life expectancy, should they encourage women to have fewer children? Okay, let's look at this answer. It says causality. It says there's no reason to expect causality. Ooh, I think we just found the answer. There we go. You can't just say there's causality. Scatterplot provides gestations. Okay, we've got a lot of questions here. We're on a lot of these. Might have just enough time. Just enough time. Okay. Okay. Let's see right here. Let's go find another. We have the accompanying plot and regression. Oh, we already have that one. Okay. Let me move it up because it was the next and I wrote it better here. Okay. Probably enough time for a few more right here. Yeah. If you want to get something down, just do it like 1,000 times, and then you will know it. Okay, 4 to 2. Just do something 1,000 times. My wife made omelets probably about 1,000 times. I'm not even joking. And then she got it down. Knows how to make omelets. She's made a couple hundred easy. She's probably made about 1,000. She's very good at it now. Here we go. The accompanying plot and regression output shows the federal rate on a 3-month treasury bill from 1950 to 1980, and a regression model fits the relationship between rate in percent in whatever years since 1950. Let's take a look at the data. Okay, so what do we have right here? We have the slope. We have the intercept. We have all this good stuff right here. There's a little bit extra that we don't really focus in on in this class. I think they're talking about the variability in the y right here. The standard deviation is a metric of spread to see how spread out these points are. Like typically, we're not really going to use that in this problem, but that's just a metric of spread, the standard deviation of the y variable likely. The dependent variable. Good. So it is the variation in the y variable. Gallup cigarette, I think we got that next. You got it, Bella. We have r squared right here, which we know is blank percent of the variation in rate is explained by the variation in years since 1950. And then we also have the intercept, which is B0 and B1. Go ahead right now and write the regression equation for 5,000 points in the chat. Take a moment right here, write the regression equation, which is going to be predicted rate is equal to something. See if you can write the regression equation in the chat because these are skills you need to have. So see if you can do it, and then I'll solve the whole question. You got it. Who can write that full regression equation in the chat? You got the info right there. So you can just say Y50 or something for years since 1950. Just abbreviate Y50. Like predicted rate is R hat. So that's predicted rate. This is predicted rate. Who's got the regression equation in the chat for 5,000 points? You got that practice. You know how to use B0, B1, and X. And the intercept is the value of B0. Y hat equals B0 plus B1X. Residuals are equal. We're not using residuals right now. Actual minus predicted, the two equations. Who's got the regression equation? A little moment or two more. These are the skills you want to have really quickly. And good job, good job. And I'll throw you the 5,000 points for that. Henry, good work. And then we also want to use the context and the names of the variables. So like predicted rate is equal to, and I'm going to abbreviate 0.609701 plus 0.24788 times years since 1950. Does that make sense? I kind of round robin. Great job, Douglas. Another 5,000 points exactly. And we'll use full decimals when we solve it, but then when we abbreviate, we'll just do it to 2 decimals or something. So everyone's writing it out right there, and predicted rate is equal to this. And good work right there, just being able to write the equations and know what's going on. What is the correlation? So how do we go from r squared to correlation? So if the r squared is as a decimal, 0.776. Now when we interpret it, we usually do it as a percent, but when we find it, it is a decimal. How would we get the correlation? If this is r squared, very clearly, square root it. And now we have the correlation right there, because if you square that, you will get r squared. But here's the thing, as the test points out, you always have to look at the direction. This is positive, so 0.776 square rooted has to be positive correlation. Always look at the direction like the Canvas content says. On average, interest rates during this period were increasing, and we have to go grab the coefficient of the slope, which is 0.24 or 0.25, because only 2 decimals. They're increasing at about this much. And Douglas, thank you in the chat, they started at this right here because that is going to be the start right there. What does the model predict for 2044? Well, we have to convert 2044 into years since 1950. So when you convert 2044 into years since 1950, what does it convert to? So what does 2044 convert to with years since 1950? As a variable years since 1950, and we're just going to literally plug it into our equation that the predicted value, and Douglas wrote out here, 0.61 equals, or we should do predicted rate. Yep, 94. Great job. Daryl in the chat. Daryl, some 5,000 points right there. Predicted rate is equal to 0.61 plus 0.25, and then this turns into 94. Plug the 94 right in there, and you will solve for the answer because we're just plugging in 94. And so we just take the value right here, plug in 94. Good to see you, Noah. 94, plug it in, times by 0.25, and then add 2.61. And there we go. There's the predicted rate, which is kind of an extrapolation again. And there it is. No, not really. Extrapolating that far out is kind of a bad idea. And if you look, it would be 94, which would be way off the model. So another question done. Only got a few more minutes here. The Gallup tracked cigarettes. Let's do that one. The Tour de France. I think we did that one another day. I've done it a lot of times, but the Gallup cigarette one. Let's check it out. The Gallup cigarette one. Ooh. What do you notice at the start of this data? As I get this question going right here, what do you notice at the start of this series? And we call it a series if it's just a series of data that has, data points in it. It's data. It's a data series. What do you notice? What do you notice? Do you see what I see? I usually, before reading their answers, try to get an idea of the data. Remember we mentioned piecewise, which we don't teach in this class, but there's kind of two trends to this data, a more flat trend and then a linear downtrend. You could also fit a parabolic relationship to this data. So is there any evidence that animals just... Oh, we did that one earlier. That is at the 18-minute mark. Check it out, Noah. 18-minute mark. So there's a non-linear to this. Non-linear. So the percent of adults who are smoking did not change until about 1970. Yep. And where the numbers started to decrease dramatically until the end of the graph. True. And is this strong, weak? It's pretty much strong throughout. The associate, because the strength is the tightness of it. So if you look, these bands right here are about the same as those bands. It's pretty much about the... I think they're going to say it's stronger after. It appears weaker before 1970 than after. Little worried about this one. Little worried, because I think since this is flat, non-existent, they're going to say there's nothing going on with the data. And if you only look at that series, for all my stats people, if you only focus in on this window of time right there, that's pretty random. And that's very weak. It's just a flat, random nothing. And then they're talking about that series. So, sure. I think I've gotten that one wrong before. Is a linear model appropriate? No, but we could fit one just for the later years. There we go. And once again, this is mainly just covering the idea of linear, making sure we have a good linear relationship. So here we go, a concert production one. We've done a few of these concert production ones. We did this one. We've done that one. There's like more concert production ones. So I don't think we've done this one. No, we haven't done this one yet. Okay. This is the other concert production company one. We have time for like one more question after this. Does anyone have 100 on their quiz so far? You can say it if you want in the chat. Does anyone already got 100 on the quiz? It makes my day when you're like, quiz 100. I do. Daryl, nice job. Get those hundreds. Douglas, great job. Let me throw you guys some points right here. But that's what we want to see. I want people getting hundreds on as many things as possible. Get those hundreds. Just lock them up. Okay, a concert production company examined the venues and how much they were selling. Describe the relationship between ticket sales and revenue. We'll take a look right here. The blue, which is the smaller revenue, goes up. You're working, Keely. Nice job right there. Keep working on it. You got this. This is a pretty good office hours. Got a lot of people here. I like it. So the blue model, which is the smaller venue, shows a positive linear trend, as does this one over here. They both show positive linear trends. Red model has a little more scatter, a little weaker model. This one is for smaller ticket sales and smaller venue. So they both show positive linear trend. So they both show a strong positive linear trend. There's no major outliers. How are the results for the two venues similar? Both venues show that higher talent cost, is that what it is? Higher ticket sales is expected to lead to higher total revenue. Higher ticket costs causes. Both venues show an increase of venue with ticket sales. Yeah, the cause word right there is no. How are they different? The smaller, is this one we did already? The larger venue has more variability. So the larger venue has a greater variability, making it harder to predict. Wait, the larger venue populates a higher magnitude region. Oh, they mixed it up. The larger venue populates a higher magnitude. Yeah. So what they're saying here is this is the magnitude of the X it's covering. They got to use fancy big words. And this is the magnitude the X is covering. So the larger venue has larger magnitude. Yeah. I think the other one's very similar, just asks like greater variability. They mix it up. Scatter plots show gestation periods. I guess the last one we got time for. Okay. Where is it? Okay. Last question of the day. Okay. 52. 54. Okay. Scatterplot shows the gestation periods of life expectancy of several species of animals. The plot contains 2 points that may be concerning. The plots are elephants and hippos. Could we do constant prediction? Yeah, we just did those right here. Yep. We did the one in the homework. We did the one in the quiz. Take a look, Noah, right there. We just did the constant reduction. Check it out. The timestamps are right here. Constant reduction is at the start. Yeah, check it out. Let me know if you can't find it. We just did those, or we just did one of them. So by removing one of these points, can we make the association stronger or weaker? Okay. So by removing one of these points, we could make the association stronger. So which of these points removed would make it stronger? Hippos or elephants? Which of these points removed would make it stronger? Hippos or elephants? Which of those removed would make it stronger? If you remove one of them, which of these removed would make it stronger? By stronger, we mean tighter. Which of those removed would make it tighter? The answer is pretty much there now. Because the points would follow a linear model more closely without the point distracting it. Point machine go brrr. Which of those removal would make it stronger? Points in the chat if you got it. So you have to think stronger means follows a linear model more. So if we plot the linear model through the data, it's going to be tighter around the linear model. So which of these removed would make it stronger? Removing which point would make it stronger? Should we remove elephants? Should move hippos, yep. Because if you remove elephants, this is with elephants removed, this is with hippos removed, and it's tighter. It's hippos. If you remove hippos, because you do like a density ellipse around it to see the strength, and look, that's stronger with the elephants there, not hippos. So removing hippos would make it stronger. So removing hippos would make the association stronger, since hippos are more of a departure from the pattern. Would the slope increase or decrease with removal of hippos? So what do you think? Hippos is pulling the slope down. So if you remove hippos, the slope is going to go up more towards elephants. So the red line, or purple, whatever it is, maroon, sure, is with hippos, and then the blue line is without. So the slope would increase because the point for hippos is below the regression line. There's technicalities on that. They should have been more specific and should have said above the mean, below, technically. So should we just keep removing animals? No. That's a horrible idea. Like my hair going crazy. No, you shouldn't. Great job, Mackenzie. Thank you for the answers. You know I like answers in the chat. Should we just keep removing? Nice job, Jackson, right there. Keep it up. Should we just keep removing? No. Only data points. The way they're describing this is kind of Only data points we have good reason to remove should be removed. It doesn't even have to be an outlier. It can just be false data. If data is bad, you remove it. You don't just remove outliers. You don't remove outliers too. You give them special attention, and then you choose to remove them if it's warranted. The slope of the scatter plot regression line is 15.5. If you remove elephants from the scatter plot, the slope of the regression line is 11.6. Do you think elephants were influential? Hey, Sarah. Yeah, Sarah Lindsay. Let's start on 5,000 points. Sarah Lindsay from the Discord right there. You know, at this point is very influential because it changed the slope dramatically. It did lower it. Removing it lowered it dramatically. Am I going to get woo? I thought I was going to miss one question right there, Sarah Lindsay. But great work and excellent stuff. That's it right there. We did a ton of stuff today, and I got all hundreds. I don't think I messed up anything. I got all my decimals right. I just went through and got all these questions right. I'm proud of myself. It's not like I teach the class, so I get questions wrong every once in a while. I just like misread it, or I don't see a decimal or things like that. So really good work, everyone. We did a good portion of the quiz. We didn't do like the easy ones, but a lot of the quiz is done here now. We have the Canvas content already up from last week. If you can't find anything, let us know. There's probably a video on it. Until then, bye for now, everyone. Thank you, Sarah. Bye. We've almost got these new intros ready. We're almost there.
This has been going for like 20 hours. This ends now.